Gentlemen, let's get one thing straight. When your gut starts whispering, don't ignore it. Because there are certain words a woman can say that slice deeper than silence. And when she says this, she's not just betraying you, she's doing it with someone you know. It doesn't start with lipstick on a collar or strange texts at midnight. It starts with a shift in how she speaks. A sentence. A phrase. Something small, but deadly. She looks at you and says, "Why don't you hang out with your friend more?" Or maybe, "I feel like your best friend really understands me." And then there's the dagger, "I think you're just being insecure." Let me be clear, those words are not innocent. They're not just about your friend. They're a smokescreen, a cover. Because when she says that, it's already happening. She's cheating, and the worst part? She's doing it with someone who shook your hand. The betrayal cuts deeper when it's from within your circle. Someone you trusted. Someone you let into your life. But here's the truth, she doesn't accidentally fall into bed with someone you know. That's premeditated. When a woman starts defending your friend more than she defends you, when she lights up at the mention of his name, when she says you're paranoid for noticing, pay attention. You're not insecure. You're being gaslit. You're watching loyalty rot in real time. But don't rage. Don't beg. Don't even confront with emotion. Instead, observe. Silently. Decisively. Because this isn't about revenge. This is about self-respect. If she crossed the line with someone close to you, don't try to fix it, burn the bridge and rebuild yourself. Men who value themselves don't stay where trust has been slaughtered. Walk away with your dignity intact. Let the traitors have each other. And rise so high they have to choke on your absence. Certain phrases are red flags not because of what they say on the surface, but because of the emotional and psychological weight they carry beneath. Words have a way of revealing what someone tries to hide. And in a relationship, especially one built on trust, certain phrases can be the crack that reveals the entire foundation is crumbling. When a woman is cheating, especially with someone you know, she often won't say it outright. Instead, she'll drop little hints, disguised as casual remarks, but laced with a quiet guilt or a deflection tactic. These phrases might sound innocent to the untrained ear, but to the man who listens closely, they scream betrayal. For example, if she suddenly starts saying, "Why don't you hang out with your friend more?" That's not a suggestion, it's a smokescreen. It's a way to keep you distracted, to make you feel like nothing is wrong while she builds a bond with someone who should have been off limits. She's not encouraging your friendships for your benefit. She's trying to create distance between you and the man she's slipping closer to. It's strategy. It's cover. Or when she says, "I think your friend really understands me," it sounds like flattery. It sounds like she's just connecting with people in your life. But ask yourself, when did that bond begin? Why is she suddenly confiding in him? Emotional cheating usually starts long before anything physical happens. That one sentence could be a confession in disguise, a glimpse into a closeness you never gave permission for. And it's often said with subtle intent, to plant the idea in your head that their connection is growing while yours with her fades. Another dagger of a phrase is, "You're just being insecure." When a woman uses that line after you express valid concerns, it's not comfort, it's gaslighting. It's a way to make you question your own sanity, to feel like you're the problem for noticing something that's very real. A faithful partner addresses concerns with compassion. But a guilty one? She flips the blame. She makes you feel small for even asking. That's not love. That's deception cloaked in emotional manipulation. Sometimes, the phrases are even more subtle. "He's like a brother to me," she might say about the very man who's been around your home, who's shaken your hand. That line is a classic shield, a way to disarm your suspicions before they even rise. But men who've been burned before know better. They know that when someone feels the need to clarify a boundary that was never questioned, there's a reason. These red flag phrases aren't always loud. They aren't always cruel. Sometimes, they come wrapped in warmth, even laughter. But it's not the tone that matters, it's the context. It's the timing. It's the shift in her eyes when she says it. Because the truth is, a woman who's faithful doesn't need to defend a man who isn't her partner. And when she does, when she speaks of your friend in ways that feel out of place, you're not crazy for noticing. You're right to listen. Because her words are telling you everything her actions are trying to hide. Cheating with someone you know is rarely accidental. It's not something that just happens out of nowhere, in a moment of weakness or confusion. It's a slow, deliberate erosion of boundaries, built on opportunity, secrecy, and conscious decisions. When a woman cheats with someone in your inner circle, it's not random. It's personal. It means the betrayal was planned, nurtured, and protected long before you ever suspected a thing. This kind of infidelity cuts deeper, not just because she cheated, but because she did it with someone who had your trust. There's a level of emotional intimacy that has to be developed first. She doesn't just end up in bed with someone you know without first exchanging looks, secrets, and shared moments that crossed lines well before anything physical occurred. That kind of cheating begins with conversations you were never a part of. It grows in your absence. Through texts you never saw, laughs you never heard, and inside jokes that didn't include you. She allowed that man into her emotional space and did so knowing exactly who he is to you. That's not a mistake. That's a choice. The man involved isn't innocent either. If he's your friend, your coworker, your gym buddy, he knew what he was doing. He looked you in the eyes, shared drinks with you, maybe even gave you advice about your relationship. And all the while, he was working his way into something that didn't belong to him. That doesn't happen by accident. That's betrayal by design. It's coordinated. It's concealed. And it thrives on your trust, your blind spots, your assumption that those closest to you would never turn on you like that. People like to excuse infidelity by calling it a moment of weakness, but cheating with someone close to you requires far more than one weak moment. It involves multiple steps: flirting, testing boundaries, hiding messages, setting up time alone, and lying directly to your face. That's not weakness. That's calculated disrespect. And the worst part is that both of them, her and the person she cheated with, knew exactly what it would do to you. They just didn't care. The level of emotional investment it takes to betray someone like this is intense. It's not some random stranger she met at a bar. It's someone who has been in your life, in your home, in your trust circle. That makes the cheating less about passion and more about power. It's about crossing the ultimate line. It's about breaking the rules of loyalty in the most personal way possible. She chose the one person who would hurt you the most. And that's not something people stumble into. If she cheated with someone you know, it's because she wanted to. Not once. Not in a flash. But over time. With intention. With awareness. And with full knowledge of the destruction it would cause. That kind of betrayal doesn't come from confusion. It comes from calculation. And that's what makes it unforgivable. She may defend the other man more than she defends you, and when that starts happening, something's already broken beneath the surface. A woman who's emotionally or physically involved with someone else, especially someone you know, will begin to subtly shift her loyalty. You'll notice it first in small comments, the way she downplays your concerns, or how she suddenly becomes the protector of a man who was once just a friend, acquaintance, or colleague. It doesn't happen overnight, but once it does, you'll feel it. And the truth is, she can't defend both of you. One of you has to be the villain in her story, and when it's you, that's not a mistake. It's a signal. Maybe you confront her about your suspicions. You tell her that you're uncomfortable with how close she's gotten to this man, someone you thought you could trust. But instead of addressing your feelings with care, she deflects. She tells you you're overthinking it. That you're being insecure. That the man you're worried about is a good guy who would never cross a line. She doesn't focus on how you feel. She focuses on defending him. That's the moment her loyalty is no longer with you, it's with him. A woman who defends another man more passionately than she defends her own partner is already emotionally gone. She's not concerned with protecting your relationship, she's protecting something else, something secret. She's already placed him on a pedestal, and in her mind, she has to keep him untouchable. The more you question the connection, the more she protects it, not because she's innocent, but because she knows what you might find if you dig deeper. And it's not just in arguments. You'll see it in how she talks about him. If she's always praising him, bringing him up, talking about how funny he is, how smart he is, how he gets her, while downplaying your worth or picking apart your flaws, you're witnessing a shift in emotional alignment. She's no longer seeing him as just another person in your world. She's starting to see him as someone who fills the gaps she claims you can't. That kind of defense is not about friendship, it's about justifying betrayal. Whether the affair has already happened or is still forming in the background, her actions are speaking louder than her words. She's not standing by you. She's building a case against you, piece by piece, using her connection to him as the evidence. And the more you try to bring it up, the more she accuses you of being the problem. Suddenly, you're the jealous one. You're the controlling one. And he? He's the misunderstood nice guy. But no man should ever be defended more than the man she claims to love. When that starts happening, you're not in a relationship anymore, you're in a triangle. And whether she admits it or not, her words have already picked a side. Gaslighting is a weapon, not a misunderstanding. It's not just lying. It's psychological manipulation designed to make you doubt your own reality. When someone cheats and begins gaslighting you, they're not just trying to cover their tracks, they're trying to erase the evidence from your mind altogether. They want you to feel like you're crazy for even suspecting them, like your instincts are broken and your feelings are invalid. It's one of the most dangerous forms of emotional abuse because it doesn't just deceive you, it trains you to deceive yourself. When a woman is cheating and uses gaslighting, it often starts small. She'll brush off your observations with phrases like, "You're being paranoid," or "That's just your imagination." You might bring up how she's been texting someone a lot lately, or how her behavior has changed, and instead of answering you directly, she flips the script. She focuses on your reaction, not her actions. Suddenly, you're the one being interrogated, not her. She'll say things like, "Why don't you trust me?" Or "You're acting insecure." To shift the blame. And before you realize it, you're the one apologizing, even though you were the one who felt betrayed. Gaslighting makes you question what you see, what you hear, and what you know to be true. If you hear her talking late at night and confront her, she might say, "You're imagining things," even if the sound was real. If you see suspicious messages and ask about them, she might say, "You're always looking for a reason to fight." Over time, this tactic eats away at your confidence. You start second-guessing your own memory. You wonder if you really did overreact. You tell yourself maybe she's right, maybe you are just being insecure. But that's the power of gaslighting. It doesn't need to be loud or aggressive to be effective. It just needs to make you doubt yourself. And once you stop trusting your own perception, you start depending on hers. She becomes the gatekeeper of what's real and what's not. That's when she's fully in control. Not just of the relationship, but of your mind. This manipulation allows her to keep the affair going while keeping you blind. It gives her the upper hand, because now you're too confused to take action. You start suppressing your gut instincts. You stop asking questions. You convince yourself that maybe things aren't as bad as they seem. But deep down, something feels off. Something always feels off. That's because gaslighting doesn't erase the truth, it only buries it. And the more you let it happen, the harder it becomes to trust anyone, including yourself. Gaslighting in the context of cheating is not about protecting your feelings. It's about protecting the lie. It's not love. It's control. It's a weapon used by someone who would rather distort your reality than face the consequences of their betrayal. And the moment you recognize it for what it is, you reclaim the one thing they're trying to steal, your clarity. Stay calm and observe before confronting, because the moment you let emotions take over, you risk losing the clarity you need most. When you suspect someone you love is betraying you, especially with someone you know, the pain can be immediate and overwhelming. It hits you in the gut, keeps you up at night, and floods your mind with questions. But acting on that emotional impulse too soon can backfire. Instead of exposing the truth, you might end up alerting them, giving them time to hide their tracks, rewrite the story, or gaslight you into silence. That's why staying calm isn't weakness, it's strategy. When you're calm, you can see patterns. You start to recognize the way she changes her routine, how her tone shifts when she talks about a certain person, or how she suddenly guards her phone like it holds state secrets. These details may seem small on their own, but together they form a picture. If you confront her too early, before the picture is complete, she'll likely deny everything and accuse you of being paranoid. But if you wait, if you collect evidence, emotional, behavioral, even digital, you put yourself in a position of power. You don't just walk into the fire blind. Reclaim your power through detachment, because the moment you stop emotionally investing in someone who's betrayed you is the moment you begin to take back control. Detachment doesn't mean you stop caring altogether, it means you stop allowing their actions to determine your self-worth, your peace, and your identity. It means you see things for what they are, not for what you wish they were. When a woman cheats on you, especially with someone you know, the pain can make you cling harder. You want answers, closure, some kind of validation. But the more you chase those things from someone who already disrespected you, the more power you hand over. Detachment allows you to see betrayal not as a reflection of your failure, but as a window into her character. It removes you from the emotional storm and places you in a position of clarity. You no longer argue, beg, or try to change her. You observe, process, and walk forward with your dignity intact. It's easy to fall into the trap of needing her to admit what she did, needing her to feel sorry, needing her to understand the damage. But true power comes when you realize you don't need any of that to move on. When you detach, you stop trying to control what she does and start focusing on what you can control, your thoughts, your boundaries, your energy. You stop responding to her manipulation, her silence, her gaslighting. You become unshakable, not because you're numb, but because you've decided that your peace matters more than her excuses. You no longer wait for her to change or expect her to be someone she's proven she's not. You accept the truth and let it shape your next move, not your self-worth. Detachment also protects you from further damage. The longer you stay emotionally tied to someone who hurt you, the more they can twist the knife. They can play with your emotions, apologize one moment and disappear the next, show signs of remorse just long enough to keep you hooked. But once you detach, you stop falling for the performance. You start seeing patterns instead of promises. You learn to read between the lines. That emotional distance gives you the power to make choices rooted in strength, not fear. Reclaiming your power doesn't always look like revenge or confrontation, it often looks like silence, discipline, and emotional freedom. Detachment is not weakness. It's not coldness. It's the decision to stop bleeding for someone who never tried to stop the wound. It's the quiet refusal to be broken by someone who already showed you they don't value your loyalty. When you detach, you don't just survive the betrayal, you rise above it. You stop asking why she did it and start asking yourself what you deserve. And that shift in focus? That's when the healing begins. That's when your power returns. So if she says something that twists your gut, if she defends another man more than she defends you, if she downplays your concerns, mocks your instincts, or makes you feel like you're losing your mind, don't ignore it. Don't let love blind you to betrayal. Because when someone cheats with a person you know, they're not just breaking your heart, they're breaking your reality. But here's the truth, you don't have to fall apart. You don't have to scream, beg, or chase answers that were never meant to give you peace. You stand still. You breathe. You detach. And then you reclaim every piece of yourself that you gave away to someone who didn't deserve it. Pain is part of the process. But power, that comes when you choose yourself over the lies. So stay calm. Observe. And when the truth becomes too loud to ignore, don't confront her to save the relationship. Confront her to save yourself. Because once you see betrayal for what it is, you don't need her to admit it. You already know. And knowing is enough to walk away with your head held high, and your soul intact.